Hey, do you want to be really comfortable when you're biking? You want to get the most out of your body type, the strength with doing those climbs, a comfortable ride. What you need is a good bike fit, okay? And we're going to talk about a few very basic tips you can do to your existing bike or things you can consider when you're buying a new one. So my name is Tom Willman, physical therapist from Apex Orthopedic Rehabilitation right here in Wyckoff, New Jersey. Glad you joined us. We do a lot of things on injury prevention, helping you self-treat certain conditions, and a lot of things on wellness, whether it be stretching, strengthening. So interested in that, just subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, hit a like or share it. So the biggest thing we want to consider is that every body type is different. I have a larger trunk ratio to my legs. My arms are a little longer compared to someone else who might be a little shorter. And all those things have to fit the bike frame and the type of bike we're looking at. So we have to consider that when we are purchasing a new bike. And also, if we're purchasing a used bike, we want to hopefully make sure it fits our body type. The bike type fits our body type. There are times that we can make slight adjustments in the bike that can kind of accommodate for slight differences, but we want to try and get the best setup. So I really encourage people to go to your local bike shop as compared to ordering online, so you can kind of get a good fitting and kind of talk to someone that's in the game about what bike would fit your body type the best. The first thing we want to consider is that when we get on the bike, we want a clearance between, they call this the top tube here. We want an inch clearance, so we want to have an inch gap between there and our groin area. All right, so when we stand over the top here, we shouldn't be resting on this top tube, and we should have about an inch, so we're not actually resting on there. So an inch clearance between the bottom of your groin here and the top tube. If you're a recreational biker or someone younger, sometimes we even have it like 2 or 3 inches lower, so there's no chance of you hitting the very bottom there, and it's a little easier to dismount. Okay, so you want to stand equal like so. You want to put this just on the inside of your heel, right at the 0 mark, and you want to run it up. Take your finger on the measurement here and just go the highest point on the inside of your thigh and straighten out your legs. And that'll be your spot as far as your the highest spot right there. From this measurement right here, I've got 34 inches. So what we want to do is we want to subtract an inch off there typically, so we add another inch off that top tube height. Okay, so one thing that we can affect it by adjusting the seat height, which we'll show you in a second, is at the very bottom position right here. It's kind of hard to hold the position here. Right here, we want a slight bend. So this is straightening. We want a slight bend when we're at the very bottom position. So when this is at 90 degrees. All right? And the way we can do this is adjust our seat height, okay? You don't want to have it at the very bottom position that this leg is completely straight, okay? He actually has a little bit more of a bend that we really want. So to make that adjustment, we can just essentially change this. This is an Allen wrench key. Sometimes it's a quick lock, and you can adjust that height to make that adjustment on the position as far as the pedal and as far as how long the leg is. And it should feel comfortable. It should never feel uncomfortable. Too high and completely locking out the leg is not going to be good. And also, what I see too often, especially more recreational bikes, not touring bikes, people have these bike seats all the way down to the bottom, and it doesn't look fun. It's really inefficient. This would be a more efficient position for you when you're road biking or just recreationally biking. So what we want is when the person's on the bike is we want to have their elbows in a slight bend like that. We don't want them blocked out. It creates a lot of like jostling for the upper body. We want it's like a spring. So we want to have a little bend in our elbows when they're in the position that they're going to be in the most. Okay. Some people may be adopting a lower position if they're doing more road. They also maybe if they're in a tri position, they might be up here. But you want to have it when they're holding here. It'll always have a little bend in the elbows. Okay. The relationship that we normally talk about is a 90-degree angle from the arm to the trunk. So this angle right here, and about 45 degrees that we're looking from our trunk to our thigh. And the thigh is when the thigh is in the top position. So when we're in the top position right here, we want that angle to be about 45 degrees. We want 90 degrees from our trunk to here, okay? That's a goal, okay? Obviously, once we go ahead into the aero position, so put your arms forward. If you're someone that's doing triathlons, that trunk angle changes. And if someone has tight hips, this might be hard to get into. This position might be a little difficult. That's why we have to make sure the fit is a little bit better. We may have to adjust something for him. We may want to change this right here, make this a little taller, a little higher. We may want to adjust this a little bit further back. Or maybe using arrow bars is not a good thing for him. But that's kind of the angles that we're looking for when we're looking at the optimal angles. So what we want to see is almost a plumb line when we're at the 3 o'clock position. So the pedal's here, I call this 3 o'clock, or you can say 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock. We want basically a plumb line from our knee down to kind of right at the ball of our foot on the cleat here. Okay? We don't want is the knee to be too far forward. Let's say we're like this, or too far back where we're too, at this position we're too far back. That'll also be affected by the length of the hamstrings, the tightness of the calves. A few different things will affect the comfort. So that's basically what we're shooting for, but that's what we don't want to see, the knee position too far back. All right, Ryan, can you go forward a little bit off the seat? So the seat right here, you can see there's these little rails here. You can actually get this, so the bike seat can kind of move forward and aft. Okay, so it can go forward, we can slide this forward, and that'll change his knee position, or we can slide this back. Okay, there's also different seat posts that are actually adjusted. It'll actually angle back, so the seat post will go on an angle, and you can adjust it for someone that's got has a very long legs or something we have to adjust for. So you can make an adjustment on the seat post, special types of seat posts, or we can adjust it on these rails. We can slide this back or forward to make you fit that position. I hope this video helped you out. Hopefully you can get out there on the road and start out, especially if you're a beginner biker, start out in the best position first before you start getting into any kind of distance. Get a really comfortable fit. The bike should feel comfortable. Sometimes it takes a little while to adjust to it, but eventually it should be something that's always uncomfortable. You should slowly accommodate and adapt to it. Sometimes you have some areas that you have to work on as far as flexibility that you need to address as well. That'll make the bike a little bit more comfortable. All right, hope this helps you out. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel, like it, and share it with a friend. If someone you think is starting a bike or is having trouble, and connect them with us. Thanks.